is another great episode of More Important Issues. Can't wait to get this one going. I'm not gonna lie. I told you, Landon. We've been talking about it since Josh Heupel's been the head coach. I'm not gonna get overhyped this year. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna let games get played. We're not making any rash decisions. But I watched a 7-minute clip that Inky Johnson narrated, and I'm all in. I'm all in. That's it. I'm sold. Like, there's nothing.
9 wins, right? 9 wins.
That was episode 1, and they're gonna do it weekly. That's it. You got me.
What's it called? The Juice.
The Juice. I think it's just. I mean, I hope they expand it a little bit more. Go beyond just it's clearly a PR thing. Like they're trying. And I get that. Your VFL Films. It's got to kind of be part of it. But I hope they expand beyond that and almost make it like a docu-series type deal. I hope they follow along spring practice and they interview players and obviously it can't be as dramatic as something like Last Chance U or QB1, where they get you to say stuff that you're probably going to regret later on. Right. I mean, you can get the thoughts, from players and stuff throughout a week. And so I think it'd be interesting. I think it would add, it's just everyone loves an inside look. So I think it'd be really cool. And Inky Johnson narrating, it honestly kind of sounds like, oh God, who did he sound like? I can't even remember now. I'm going to have to send the clip to you later. I'll find it. I'll send it out to you guys. We'll all work together and collab for this.
Is it bad? The first thing I thought about when I saw that, I was like, oh, they're going to put everything out in the open just so there's no surprises if the NCAA comes knocking.
They're like, we're not paying players. We videotaped every single thing these kids did.
This is documented.
Yeah, that's actually what it is. The NCAA required it. They're like, we might as well have Inky narrated if we have to do it.
Right, yeah.
Guys, we are talking about spring practice. It is first off, spring is on the hot seat. I'll get into that later. Holy balls, it's going to be cold the next couple nights. But we're talking spring practice.
It was
Redbud
80 degrees.
Yeah. That storm
2 days ago?
That hailstorm brought in hellacious cold. You all didn't get hail in Knoxville, did you?
They said it was going to, but it didn't. I don't know if it was just the scare that everywhere else got it. So we're like, holy crap, put your cars in the garage.
Yeah, at least you have a garage. I'm at an apartment and with liability insurance. It's fun being poor, guys. You should try it. We're also
just go to the local Sonic and park under the awning.
Yeah, that's what I should have done. We're going to talk about some of the basketball transfer portal. Tennessee players are on the move. Hopefully Tennessee's making the move for some guys. So we'll talk all about that. Baseball had a good win over Western Carolina last night. How many home runs is Evan Russell going to hit this season?
Well, he's had 4 in the last 3 games, so just keep them coming.
Yeah, no one's complaining here.
Yeah, so I think he has 5 now. So yeah, okay. He's second on the team.
Okay, and hopefully adding to that, starting this Friday in Tuscaloosa. We'll also talk about that series as the Vols head to Alabama. We're going to discuss a little bit of the Final Four, some more March Madness. I'm going to be 100% honest. I've only watched, I guess, 2 games of the Elite Eight because I didn't watch the 2 9 o'clock games. I refuse. I'm not giving the NCAA any more reason to do that next year like I know they're going to do because apparently the ratings are really good. So
yeah, I was exhausted last night, so screw you, NCAA.
Yeah, and I thought I had a better chance of hitting that teaser if I went to bed. If I'd watched the game, so I'm sorry for you. If I'd watched the game, Michigan probably would have won. And big.
I mean, that's I just need them to win. If they won by a point, I won money. I would have went to bed happy, and had a great day. But it just ruined my whole night.
It's done.
I didn't have a great day. Yeah.
And then we're talking about the big NCAA topic today. That's players getting paid. Or in general, I just want to talk about how shitty the NCAA is. They suck, and I want to talk about that
for the 9 o'clock game, for the 9:57 games, and this. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
It's a long list.
Right, and I did want to talk about that. Oh, my God, I just saw where Chris hopped in. Welcome, Chris. And I meant to prepare something for him. I was going to trash talk him. I'll do it on the fly later. I got to teach you something so that we can trash talk Chris together. Okay. I found out today he's a Tottenham fan, and that's unfortunate news. So
yeah, Chris, how about that? I don't even I have no clue about soccer, but yeah, take that.
Yeah, well, you're going to become an Arsenal fan today, so just.
I am an Arsenal fan.
Perfect, perfect. He's a gooner. Guys, drop your questions in the chat. We'll get to them throughout the show. If we don't get to them immediately, stay with us. Drop them in there. Tell us where you're listening from, and we'd love to. We love our listeners, no matter if they're in Georgia, Chris.
And go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. Also go check out our network, Volunteer Roadshow. Do a great job of making this show possible, as well as our sponsors. So let's get into it.
Let's get it. I'll see you guys on the other side. Let's get the show going.
Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. Got it by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Wednesday, March 31st. I know we talked about it a second ago, but I need to make it clear. You could make one cool Tennessee shirt. You could make one cool Tennessee graphic. You could put someone better than Butch Jones on the Jumbotron. And I could talk myself into 10 wins easy. That's the kind of Tennessee fan I am. So watching that one episode of the Juice, I'm juiced. I'm ready to go.
Give me the juice.
The Vols are back, baby. Yeah, it doesn't take much. It doesn't. And I'm here. And you're right, Chris. I came in ready to talk trash, but this is a safe judgment, free space because I watch the Juice now. So I won't talk trash about the Spurs today. I won't do it.
They should have named it like Kool-Aiders. Like, we're drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, that's what
I'm
fans do.
I'm definitely drinking the Kool-Aid.
Bought in 100%.
I mean, I had myself like Sunday, just a couple days ago. I said, I'm not getting pumped about spring practice. And here I am. I watched the quarterbacks make a couple decent throws, a couple good catches in that sequence. Guys are flying around. I'm in. 100% I'm in. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, people scored some touchdowns, so that's new.
There were touchdowns scored.
That's new for us. Yeah, I think there is a little bit of excitement in the air. I guess excited just to have something new.
For sure.
Because, God, last year was terrible. But I am super stoked to be able to tailgate this season.
Yeah, I am excited. I think now, especially since I'm so pumped about spring ball. And I mentioned it on Sunday. I'd really like to go to the spring game this year, just because I mean, normally, not saying I don't normally want to go. It's just, it's not necessarily like I put on my calendar, because they usually make it really uninteresting. They could go out there and just talk about football for the spring game. And I just want to be in Neyland. That's it.
Well, the good thing is, like, with our offense that we're running, if we play like an hour and a half, we're going to run 8,000 plays in that hour and a half.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're going to see a lot of football. It's yeah. I think in Jalen McCullough's words, he's got them boys going fast. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll definitely try to be there. If I'm there, I'd like to make a day of it and tailgate, because why not? Got to get loose. You got to keep some grease on the joints here and try to stay in that mindset for the fall. Going into the fall with hopefully not too much tweaking to do to get ready.
9 wins.
9 wins. That's it. And there's really, I feel like and honestly, before I watched the Juice, I came in here ready to be like super negative about spring practice, because there's nothing. And that's the thing that's what sucks about spring practice at a place like Tennessee. Like anywhere that's covered heavily, like Tennessee, any SEC school, Texas, like nothing good happens at spring practice. You only find out that like you're really thin at linebacker. You only find out like injuries or that guys left the team. Like you're not, unless you just got really, really like drinking the Kool-Aid beat reporters. No one leaves spring practice like, oh, I feel really good about this.
Yeah, I remember when it was Jalen Hurts' freshman year because he was an early enrollee, so he went through spring practice. And someone said Jalen Hurts is going to be the first Heisman winner at Tennessee, and everybody was bought in. And then he scored 3 touchdowns in the spring game, and you're like, holy crap. And then look what happened. Tennessee just happened to him.
But okay, I mean, I'm not saying he would have won a Heisman, but he would have had Tennessee's rushing record if he had stayed and played running back.
Right,
and
yeah.
And he didn't need to play
everything
in the
lined up
either.
for that to almost happen.
Right.
But it just didn't.
Well, and someone told me he had to run. He could only run in an off formation. He almost held the rushing record, so it's fine. But whatever. And not I'm not talking about a rushing record that was only existed for 2 years at a new program or something. Right. That was very dumb. But okay, I mean, I guess you're right. So sometimes players come in and you get really excited, but I feel like it's rare. I feel like to really be excited about your team, you got to talk yourself into it.
Well, then the most hyped player, if you will, is suspended. So the player everybody was looking forward to seeing, he's not with the program.
Hey, who's McDermott? Speaking of
Sully.
Who is it?
Sully.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping maybe we got Dougie Buckets on our team, but yeah, I'll settle.
Big Sully.
I've never heard
Monsters Inc.
So is that dude's name Sully? I'm so confused now. You've got me.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. Is he a walk-on? I've never seen him.
I think he's a preferred walk-on, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know who he was. I saw him in the video. Someone asked about the juice. Is it only going to cover offense, or is it surely it's going to cover the whole team, right? Surely it's not just covering the offense.
It's too fast to just cover. Our offense is too fast.
Fair. Because, I mean, someone mentioned it. I saw someone tweet back. They're like, I'm glad to see someone coaching quarterbacks. I was like, guys, he's an offensive guy. He's a quarterback guy. I mean, I hope there's coaching going on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, but in fairness, you probably wouldn't want Jeremy Pruitt coaching your quarterbacks.
That's a good point. That Landon raises a good point. Let's dive into spring practice. I don't know where you want to start. I don't know if you want to go good since we're hyped up, and then bring down the mood maybe a little bit later. I've got some spin zones though, so I'm excited to get into that.
Okay.
Talk about depth, yeah.
Hit the spin button.
Yeah, exactly, and try to churn this in the right direction. But I mean, we can kind of. Where do you want to start? Because the world is our oyster. We don't have to.
So I think they hit the practice field Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So I'll start with the schedule.
Full pads.
Full pads. We are in full pads, so that's good. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, the only really takeaway so far is we go fast on offense. D-back with is massive, and we're really thin at linebacker.
Hey, they look like they're having fun. It's probably VFL Films doing a good job of getting the right stuff in there. But hey, at least they're flying around. They're paid to do. Yeah, at least they're flying around, and it looks like they're enjoying themselves. Yeah,
it's going back to that PR thing. I told Jeremy Pruitt before he got fired, I was like, dude, you need a PR guy. So it's good that they're taking that kind of serious with this staff.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that the fun doesn't fade. But yeah, we'll see. Hey, if you can get guys smiling in full pads, it's good. Well, I'll take that back. Today was the first day in full pads, right?
Yesterday was, yeah.
Yesterday, okay. So let's check back in 2 weeks. And if they're still having fun in full pads, that's good news. Because the first day in full pads, everyone's ready. Yeah, first day in full pads, you're back, baby.
Because you don't really hit the first day anyway.
True. Yeah, you do a little bit. You're right. There's always that one drill. It's the kind of the new,
it's a little popper.
The new Oklahoma drill where you're hitting each other, but it's not just murdering each other. But yeah, it's exactly. So first day is always fun. Let's check back in 2 weeks. If they're still having fun, I'll be even more juiced.
Yeah, then we go 10 wins, right?
10, yeah. We'll go from 9 to 10 easily. Let's start with the quarterbacks. I don't know where you want to start. I'll steal it, and we'll go quarterbacks. I know you asked me last, I think it was Sunday, you asked me who's probably going to be the starter. I mentioned Hendon Hooker. I thought just everything I know right now about the quarterbacks on campus feels like that may be the guy. anything maybe you feel differently? Where does I know we talked a little bit about Brian Maurer. I saw him thrown out around on Twitter today as an under the radar guy that could be your guy.
Yeah, I'd have to see that to believe it, honestly. I think Hooker and Harrison Bailey will be your top two guys. From there, I don't really have I believe it would be Hendon Hooker just because of the skill set and what he brings as a runner to this offense. But I think if you're going with a guy that you're just comfortable with, would probably be just Harrison Bailey. I think one of those two. I think Caden Salter maybe had a chance going into spring. He'd have to have a good spring, but now, you've kind of damaged that relationship with the coaching staff already. You're missing spring. You're young. You don't have the experience that these other guys have. I think it's going to be tough for him to really have a shot of being the guy day one.
I'll counter that to the how he got off to a bad start with the staff. If he's still around after all that, I think the staff has got to, if you look at that guy, you didn't recruit him. You have not much skin in the game as far as it goes with him. If something like that happens and he's not the guy and you need someone valuable in that scholarship space, what are you doing if you're the coach?
Yeah. You got to get rid of all of them if you do that.
Maybe just because you're the new guy, but you're also you're talking about a young guy who just got on campus, and it definitely I think you don't even necessarily have to tell him to leave. You can just be like, hey, we might need to find right now might be the best time for you to find a spot that fits you better if that was the case. So I just mean if he's still around and seems like he's going to be. Nothing right now would lead me to believe he's gone for good. I think maybe it's something the coaching staff will they kept him around for a reason, I think, in terms of obviously he's a 4-star guy, but you didn't recruit him. He's not technically yours in turn, when you think about it in that sense of it. I think Caden Salter still has I'm in the same boat of like, hey, that's not a great way to start your relationship. Right. But I don't know how much it knocks you back because Josh Heupel's getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
he does get paid more if he loses, but the man, we joke about how much Tennessee, coaches get paid when they lose, but at that level, you want to win, and they win at all costs. Jamie Pruitt was handing out thousands of dollars to win.
Yeah, and still didn't. I just think it puts him. I think he needed spring practice.
It sets you back.
So if he comes in, I think he has to be head and shoulders better than every other guy to really have a shot.
Right. And then another advantage, Hendon Hooker would have the same advantage Caden Salter has. This is the first staff at Tennessee you're playing with. You're not necessarily having to relearn anything in the sense. Obviously they're having to learn, but I don't know. So I think sometimes when you're in a place and then things come in and change, it's a little bit harder than like going somewhere when things are about to change. Hendon Hooker and Caden Salter came here knowing they would have to learn something new. Mm-hmm. It was kind of just sprung on Harrison Bailey and Brian Maurer.
Yeah, like you mentioned, none of this staff isn't tied to any of these guys. They didn't bring any single one of these. They might be more tied to Brian Maurer than anybody else because they recruited Brian Maurer at UCF.
And that's one of the things that's been kind of raised today on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just have a hard time believing like he would be your best option to win, but apparently none of us know who gives us the best chance to win.
Right.
Chris said,
you got it.
I think all those quarterbacks need the spring practice. I agree, just because a new offense, it is a more complex offense than they were used to. So, yeah, I think that really puts him behind. If it was a defensive lineman and not really going through spring practice, I think you have a better shot of, getting on the field, when fall camp comes around. I don't think it's that complex, but being the most important position on the field in a complex offense, I think Caden Salter would really have a hard time seeing the field.
And how long? I mean, how long is he out? Does the man come back? Next week? Is it? Have they said how long he's suspended?
That's a good question. I mean, if he's back tomorrow, then yeah, it doesn't hurt him. But if he's out, pretty much all of spring, then yeah, I think it puts him
definitely. If he's out all of spring, I mean, I think you could almost count him out. But yeah, I think what Chris mentioned, all these quarterbacks needed it. Harrison Bailey obviously didn't get enough reps. I mean, if you were starting the guy you started over him, it's because you weren't giving Harrison Bailey a chance. Like, let's just be honest. So he wasn't getting the reps he really needed to develop. So this spring should be big for him. Brian Maurer battled injury a lot last year, mixed with being behind guys that were just better than him and Trout and Bailey and
allegedly,
if you want to say JG. JG's older than him. That's true. But so I mean, he needs the spring. He's getting back from some health issues, and then obviously Hooker and Salter coming in, and Dougie McDermott's coming in. Sorry, Sully McDermott's coming in. Then spring's going to be big for all of them. It's good that the whole QB room is healthy. I mean, obviously you want Caden Salter to be back from suspension, but at least he's available. Like, they're all healthy. There's no one sitting out that you would like to have there. They're all, besides Caden Salter, they're all there.
Yeah, and kind of moving on from quarterbacks a little bit, you do miss one guy that we've kind of talked about being important to this defense is Jeremy Banks.
Yes.
Had a little cleanup surgery in the offseason, and so is I think a limited participant or hopes to be back soon. They don't know when exactly. I think he's supposed to get cleared. He has to be cleared by the UT medical staff and Josh Heupel before he can come back. But that's a guy like
Josh Heupel. Is he a medicine guy? Is he treating these guys? What's going on?
I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get the final medical say?
He stamps it. He gets the stamp of approval.
All right. Executive order.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Got to have a head guy. But I think him having and it's not a lot of experience at linebacker because, he didn't start last year. And, when he was in the game, it wasn't a great sight to see. But, it's a guy you desperately needed on the field this spring to really solidify himself as a starter and with the lack of depth you have at that position.
And he should be a leader this year too. So definitely needed that presence on the field. Not saying it's necessarily a great thing, but as far as what you have and what you need, Jeremy Banks is going to be that guy. So definitely creates some depth issues, which is the biggest question at linebacker, is depth. I mean, I guess the news from yesterday was Will Albright being Will Albright, who's a long snapper, came to Tennessee to be a long snapper, is taking reps at linebacker.
Yeah, and I think they asked Tim Banks in the press conference about that, and he was just like, we're trying to build depth. And, I agree, but when you're pulling a long snapper to be and nothing against Will Albright, but to pull a long snapper to just add depth to linebacker is not exactly where you want to be.
No, it's not, but this is my spin zone. Will Albright's not your classic long snapper.
He's not. No,
we're talking about a 2 or 3 time state champion linebacker, 70 tackles his senior year, several tackles for a loss, some fumble recoveries. He's not a guy who's only in on the we fence. This guy's playing. This guy's we can talk about. I think he was recruited to one of the academies to be a linebacker,
okay.
I believe, and chose to long snap at Tennessee. That may be false. I may have just lied. So
just padding the resume, Caleb. I like it.
Yeah, no, spin zone. You got to lie a little bit. I mean, just like VFL films. You gotta. But hey, I'm just saying there could be worse options at long snapper than I don't know the credentials of former Tennessee long snappers, but I don't know if they all have the credentials that Will Albright does. So yeah, maybe not the best option, but he's not the worst.
Right. Yeah, I just don't know. Like now with everybody out, you don't have Crouch. Toto's not here. Banks isn't there. You have Aaron Beasley, who was at running back and then DB and then linebacker. You have Morvan Joseph, who played, that outside linebacker last season, and he's moved. You have Martavius French, who's part of that group that's, currently not with the program. Aaron Willis comes in as a freshman. He's currently not with the program either. Then you have walk-ons like, Will Albright, Sloan Page, and Enrique Valentine, who I think went to Central. So not where you want to be. I mean, that's paper thin at linebacker. I don't think they can't afford somebody to get hurt in that linebacker room.
No, they definitely cannot. It's
how does that happen?
It's a mess. Well, I mean, it doesn't help that half of your linebackers left. I mean,
that's true.
And that's like where I get pissed at and that's the thing. I do think the NCAA needs to change. I'm all for like a one-time transfer rule of like, whatever you go, and we'll get into I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about what's going on at the Supreme Court right now with the NCAA. But you got to open it. Like Tennessee has to be able to go out and fill those needs. Like especially after a coach leaves, and then half of them go with him. Like you can't expect them to fill all the needs while on a 25 limit. It's not possible.
Right.
So that's just incredibly dumb. But
yeah, that's the transfer rule. The rich get richer because they might lose a guy or two that weren't really playing, and they can just replace them with guys that are leaving programs that were good.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
yeah, I mean, freaking Oklahoma. Like, good.
Yeah,
God.
They just literally handpick their transfers.
Transfer portal U. Transfer portal U.
Yeah.
Chris asked.
But,
so with all the offense,
but they can't do it in conference though.
No. So with all those offensive players moving on, Gray, Morris, Chandler, etc., should we be excited or worried? Was the end of that. I mean, it's definitely not a good thing.
Yeah. I'm excited about our offense.
Yeah, I think the offense will be explosive. I think there's I think there's talent left on the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, I mean, you did lose. Yeah, you lost two of your best players in Eric Gray and Ty Chandler on your offense last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously losing a leader and a player like Trey Smith is gonna hurt. Losing Wanye Morris is not fun to the transfer portal U. Thankfully, like you said, it wasn't in conference. Yeah, you lose Josh Palmer to graduation. Yeah, I mean, it's not good when you lose those guys, but I still think there's plenty of explosive playmakers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I just that linebacker group, man. I mean, thin. Apparently, Tyler Barron is getting some looks at linebacker. I read that somewhere.
Like inside linebacker?
It just said linebacker. I assume because he would be probably an outside linebacker anyway.
Right.
But that would, because he's huge. He's like, what, 6'6"?
I mean, he's more of a he's an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Speaking of linebacker, Chad Brown said that Valentine can play a linebacker if he gets some reps. He said he was a stud at Knox Central under Brian Rosser and Nick Craney. Hey, I can't say that. I almost said it. So I am a Brian Rosser guy. Big fan. Fan of Brian Rosser.
I mean, if you have any eligibility, you can have a chance at linebacker.
So, do they have a invincible style trial for linebacker?
There you go. Yeah.
Is
we get a Rudy.
Why am I blanking on his name? The actor's name.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. Why is can Mark Wahlberg play linebacker, or is he exclusively a wide receiver? He's gotten bigger since the Invincible.
He just needs a little bit bigger pads, and he can be a linebacker.
Well, he's gotten bigger since Invincible. He was in his slimmer day. He was coming from Marky Mark at that point.
Yeah, he did that that like bodybuilder movie.
Yeah.
Is it Pain and Gain?
I have no idea. You got me there.
I think that's right. I could be totally wrong.
So yeah, recruit him, no problem.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You got some eligibility left, right?
I've got a couple years. The only thing with me playing linebacker is, I'm pretty aggressive. So yeah, I'm not great in the pass defense because I'm so aggressive. So you'd lose a lot there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd plug some holes. Don't worry about it.
You'd get after a quarterback.
I'm going to be in the backfield. Don't worry.
Somewhere.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, he might be like way past the quarterback, but I'm going to be in the backfield, way back there. Listen, I love getting in the box. Don't let me get in the box. That's some trouble,
man.
That's some trouble. Don't let me get in the box. All right.
Oh man.
Anything else about any notes you want to mention about spring practice?
Dude, who's going to be our starting running back? Tylen Evans is limited right now. Jalen Hyatt's limited. I just want to mention that he's not a running back, but yeah, who's going to be our starting running back? The running back, y'all.
I mean, I got to assume it's Jabari Small or D. Beckwith then.
Yeah, I think Jabari Small would probably, but you saw Jalen Wright take 1 for 6. I don't know what team was that, but hey, he went for 6.
You go to the right end zone if you don't know what team it was. Pull one of those. I don't know. I mean,
second or third team.
I gotta think it's probably. I mean, just based off to like history of position they play, I gotta think Jabari Small. But I mean, D. Beckwith also. I mean, the fact that they haven't moved D. Beckwith makes me think he has a legitimate chance to play running back. So.
Here's my thought process about linebacker. And I just thought of this, so I'm going to share.
Okay. All right, go.
We put Jalen McCullough, who's, struggled in the passing game last year. You put him at linebacker. He likes to hit. He likes to plug holes, like you said.
He hits. Yeah, he definitely hits.
And then, you put Theo Jackson or whoever else back in his spot.
Jalen Reese-Maben was a free safety in high school and then played linebacker in college, which is a weird transition. It's normally the other way around.
Yeah. Or Danico Slaughter likes to hit. I mean,
I think you're just saying that because his last name.
He definitely likes to hit. I've seen his highlight tape. Huddle doesn't lie, Caleb.
Huddle never lies. Never. It's paper thin. We'll see if they get it figured out. EMM mentioned linebackers are thin, but I'm hoping Garner can get the line looking good. We've got some size and experience there. Yeah, I would say the defensive line is they have some opportunity there. I'll say that.
Cover up the weakness, baby.
Yeah, I think the defensive line has some opportunity to be a pretty. It's not going to be hard to be the best unit on defense this year, but I would think right now, the defensive line has the best opportunity to be the best unit.
Absolutely, got the best coach.
They got the best coach. They got a couple guys returning, so we'll see.
They have bodies.
they have bodies.
People there.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, anything else about spring practice? Are we ready to move on to basketball?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's talk basketball. Guys hitting the transfer portal. Or will guys be coming in? That's to be determined. Right now, Tennessee's taking up about 50% of the transfer portal, though. No, that's not true. I lied. But the guys are leaving, too. I just kind of assume transfer portal. I feel like that's the common thing to mention. But Jaden Springer actually already announced that he's going to go to the NBA. He's hiring an agent, so he's gone. Donezo. Done. No doubt. Don't blame him. I got to think Keon Johnson will be following him soon, but that's not been announced yet. So keeping that Twitter kid's hopes alive.
Yep.
Keeping his hopes alive. And then also in the transfer portal, Drew Pember, Devontae Gaines, and I'm leaving someone out. Get me. Who am I leaving out?
That's it, right?
Is that it?
I think it's it right now.
Okay. So I was thinking someone else went in the same day as Gaines. Was it Pember?
Pember.
It was Pember? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So those three guys leaving, they have pretty much been replaced already, though. I'll say that. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't getting –
I just mean their scholarships. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Both those, Kennedy Chandler and Jemai Meshack will take 2 of those.
Yeah.
and then whoever they get in the transfer portal. And you got to see who's coming back. You know, John Fulkerson has the opportunity to come back. Pons, I'd say, is gone.
Right.
Keon is probably gone. And then does Tennessee have any more transfers? I've heard Corey Walker's name kind of get thrown out there a little bit. I can't blame the guy because you were terrible in the post and he didn't even get an opportunity. So
right.
In
a year that didn't count. Like if you wanted to redshirt him, that's one thing. I'm not saying I would agree with it still, but that's one thing. But it just didn't count. And you could have played him. You could have given him 3 minutes, and you didn't.
Right. Yep. And Devontae Games and Drew Pember, I'm not surprised by either one of them.
No.
I just don't think if they wanted to be a role player on this team down the line, yeah, maybe they could have been. But that's if you want to play a lot of minutes in college, they're probably going to have to go down to maybe ETSU, MTSU, something like that, kind of that level. They'd probably be okay in.
Right. Yeah, no, I do too, and I think it's one of those situations. I think both of them can be really successful at one of those lower programs. Smaller Division I, especially Devontae Gaines, and I think Devontae Gaines is a great player, and I think even I just think there was too much offensive talent on this team. I think a lot of fans are going to lie to you, but I think a lot of fans would have been upset if he was taking minutes away.
Yeah. Both of them mentioned they loved Vol Nation, and I don't think they're mistreated at all while they're here. I just think it's based, they weren't getting to play.
Right.
Because every time either one of them did anything, the whole arena went nuts.
Right. Yeah. This is an interesting one. I hope John Fulkerson don't come back as a starter. That's the only time Tennessee was good was when John Fulkerson played well. And then they mentioned the guy out of Eastern Carolina. Who is that?
Jaden Gardner.
Yeah. He averaged almost a double-double. I think it was 16 points, 8.5 rebounds per game.
18.3 points per game and 8.3 rebounds per game.
So averaged almost a double-double. That would obviously be a good pickup for Tennessee. Don't know, how realistic that is for Tennessee to get him. But I have seen his name mentioned since he entered the transfer portal. Man, listen, John Fulkerson, it's fun to laugh at how he plays because he plays like a baby deer. Just falling around. And it was even funnier when he kind of looked like a baby deer too. But, the fact is Tennessee ticked when he was on.
Yeah.
When he was out, I still thought Tennessee had the talent to beat Oregon State, but I knew it was less likely when you didn't have John Fulkerson. So I don't know how you don't take him with arms open wide for another year, regardless of whether he wasn't the most talented player on this team. He probably wasn't the most talented player on the team the year before when he was the best player. He just gets your team going for whatever reason. It's John Fulkerson.
Yeah, and he's an effort guy. So if you have a guy that can beat somebody off the dribble, get to the rim. If he misses, I think John Fulkerson's there to clean it up.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he plays. Second chance points, good position, and things like that. It just makes opposing teams, it just gives them hell. Because, like you mentioned, he plays like a baby deer. He's out of control. He's scrawny and bony, and I'm sure that gets super annoying in a game, but, the talent is there.
Right.
I just don't think he had maybe the right players around him. I don't want to say he doesn't have players around him because that's not true, but the right players maybe for his skill set.
I just don't think he played great this season. And
that's it.
And I think that could be a factor of a number of reasons. But when he played well, Tennessee played well. So again, I just don't know how you don't take him with arms open wide. I don't remember what I was gonna mention, but so we talked about the players leaving. Any other players you want to mention that maybe Tennessee could be looking at in the transfer portal that you want to keep an eye on? Want to mention?
Well, Jaden Gardner. I'll go back to EJ Anosike. When we got EJ Anosike, we thought he could be successful on this team. Similar to Grant Williams. We didn't think he was going to be Grant Williams. We thought similar body type, rebounds, things like that.
He played similar. He moved people around in the paint.
Yeah, and I just think from Sacred Heart to Tennessee, it was just a huge jump, and it just didn't work. So I'd be surprised if he's back next year.
He's already announced he's returning unless something changes.
Gotcha.
He announced that like well, did he say exactly he was returning? I think he said he was returning. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep. But Jaden Garner, out of ECU, I don't want you to put Jaden Garner in the same category as, Sacred Heart and ECU, because Memphis, Houston, Tulane, Cincinnati, UCF, those are decent programs. Yeah, it's not the SEC or the Big 12 or things like that, but it's a lot better than, the schedule Sacred Heart played with. And he averaged 18-8 against Cincinnati, who Tennessee played this year. He had 23 points, 4 rebounds. He had a 23-point game, 9-rebound performance against Memphis. And Houston, who's in the Final Four, he had 21 points and 15 rebounds and 4 assists against them. So I think the kid can play. If you're able to lock him down, I think that really helps out. I think he's 6'7". So anybody that can shoot or has any bit of size, can rebound, I think Tennessee is going to do their due diligence. There you go. And give him a call and see if, it's the right fit. Because I think Tennessee needs a lot of help in the paint and shooting wise.
Yeah, no, for sure. Tennessee can use all the help they can get. Chris asked, do you feel like Barnes is mismanaging the talent on this team? I guess really, did he mismanage the talent? It's hard to argue he didn't. Just look at the talent on the team. And let me ask you this. If I said who's our best 5, could you like confidently say, yeah, that was Tennessee's best 5 on the court? Like when Tennessee had them on the court, they were at their best this year.
You definitely say the 2 freshmen.
Right. Yeah. And
Pons and Fulgerson. But that's all you really had down low. So, it was kind of by default. Maybe Vescovi.
Yeah, and then it's hard to even throw in a number 5. You were kind of unsure about 3 and 4, but it's hard to even find a number 5. I just don't know if you could confidently lay out a strong starting 5. And you're talking about 2 guys. You knew 2 guys were on there. Mm-hmm. Pons and Fulgerson should have both been on there.
Maybe decide Jordan James.
Yeah, I think it's got to be him. And then, but again, Pons and Fulgerson were absolutely inconsistent. Sydney just mentioned it, but like that doesn't. But they were necessary. Like, how do you not start them either? Right. How do you not play them? It's just. But you definitely had a lot of guys that you could look to, and I just don't know. For whatever reason, there was nothing. There was nothing there to. We thought we were going to be deep. We talked about it going into this year. We thought Tennessee was going to be very, very deep, and going to have a lot of options to look to, but just weren't, for whatever reason, just weren't able to find. Josiah Jordan James ended up being your 6th man because he just played better coming off the bench at one point. I don't know. It just never felt right. And I'm a Rick Barnes guy. I'm not like saying this to be like, go fire Rick Barnes. I'm just saying I think it would be hard to say he didn't mismanage this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Josiah Jordan James, Keon Johnson, and Jaden Springer, I feel like all 3 of those players were very similar in their skill set. Keon Johnson is probably more athletic than both of those guys. Josiah Jordan James is a better rebounder, but they all 3 like to fill up the stat sheet, and neither one of them were great shooters.
And I don't think you necessarily needed a great shooter out of one of them. I think what you needed out of one of them was a guy who would go to the hole. That's what you needed out of one of them, because you had Vescovi, who can spot up with the best in the country. Victor Bailey Jr., whatever we want to say. And that's another guy. If we're going to sit here and talk about like John Fulgerson needs to leave, you can't say Victor Bailey Jr. should stay then. Guys like that. But Victor Bailey Jr. is one of your better shooters. It's just he didn't give you enough on any given night. But, right. I like to think, though, too, if you had a guy that was being aggressive and going to the rim, those guys that are guarding Victor Bailey have to leave him so he gets more open looks. I feel like it all boiled down to is Tennessee wasn't aggressive enough.
Yeah, and sometimes the talent doesn't mesh. I mean, you saw that with Kentucky this year. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you for whatever reason. I don't think Tennessee really got the play that they wanted from Pons or Fulkerson. So I feel like no one on this team was an alpha.
No, no one had when things were going wrong, balls in my hand, I'm gonna go make a play. No one had that.
Yeah, because as a freshman, when you have that senior leadership, you look to those guys when when it's late in the shot clock at the end of the game, you're looking for a senior to step up and make a play, and Tennessee didn't get that. And I think it's hard for a freshman to take on that role when you have that senior leadership.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was going to have to be one of them because, like you said, and I mean, that's also like that should have just been a known thing on this team. Pons has been here for 4 years, and he's not a scorer. Like,
right.
You can't go to him. Fulkerson just again, I'm a Folky guy, but like when there's points that need to be scored, you can't throw it into the low post with Fulkerson, and then he's not going to beat somebody off the dribble and go score.
Right.
So I mean, it was going to have to be. Is Vescovi fast enough to beat somebody off the dribble? I don't know. But I mean, so it was going to have to be one of those freshmen. And I think that should have just been a known thing. And I think they were both plenty talented enough to do it. And I know it's a hard task to ask for a freshman, but I mean, I think we're letting, we're like, is it on, I mean, at the end of the day, it is on Rick Barnes, but not, he's the head coach, not getting it right. But those guys had to be, I think aggressive is the right word, but just more intentional. Mm-hmm. They talked about jump passing a lot. I mean, it seemed like Jaden Springer, a lot of what he was doing was, he would stop and then find out what to do after that. There wasn't a real goal sometimes. And yeah, he scored a lot doing it. Sure. There were a lot of times he could pull up from 10 feet and score, and that's great, but it also doesn't do a whole lot. And if I'm asked to defend a 10-footer the whole game, gladly.
Vescovi only knows how to pass when he's in the air.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of our guys do. All of our guys pass in the air, and it's amazing that they do. It must be that don't say like I'm not going to do that because then that's what you're thinking about, because that's all Rick Barnes and Kim English talked about the back half of the season is you do not jump you can jump to make a pass, but do not jump to find a pass. And it's like that's all our team did in the back half of the season was jump to find a pass.
Turnovers.
I'm excited to get Kenny Chandler, and I think he'll be the aggressor that Tennessee needs. I think I mean, just look at – we want to talk about being aggressive. Just look at Jordan Bone, a guy who wasn't as talented as Jaden Springer or Keon Johnson, but because he was aggressive, he created so much.
Yep.
Created so much. Whew.
Open things up for shooters, the post. It's amazing how important a point guard is, but Tennessee really just didn't have one this past season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some other transfer guys real quick. You got the center for Georgetown. I have his name written down, but there's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try to botch it. He averaged 12 and 8 on the season. Noah Locke, the Florida guard, he's another one. Jalen Cone is one. I don't know if they've actually reached out to him, but went to Virginia Tech. He's a point guard. I don't know if they would want to when they have Kenny Chandler coming in here, but he was I think it was between us and Virginia Tech when he decided to go to Virginia Tech. And then I think the Powell kid from Auburn is another one. They've reached out to so many. I think
I think Tennessee's name has been linked with every single transfer.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, we're going to throw our name in that.
And what's good for Tennessee is they've had recent success where, people are going to pick up the phone.
And I think a lot of people have mentioned, I think it's known that Tennessee's a specific type of player away from being there. So
yeah, and the football program, all those kids aren't going to pick up the phone when Tennessee comes calling.
No.
But with the recent success of the basketball program, I think you have to, pick up the phone and at least hear what they have to say, because this preseason, the accolades and things like that, I think this is a program that's going to continue to be in the top half of the SEC year in and year out, probably the top 3. It should be anyway, with the talent you have coming in. So Hopefully, it's going to be a lot of new faces.
A lot of new faces.
With how many people you have leaving, and you're going to replace all those scholarship players. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how Tennessee kind of comes together.
Yep. I want to mention. Yeah, no, for sure. I want to mention one thing before we move away from basketball because Chris commented. I think what drove me nuts was the sheer amount of mid-range jumpers. I do want to say this. It's not the amount of mid-range jumpers that bothered me. It is the amount of mid-range jumpers early in the shot clock that bothered me. Contested early in the shot clock. Mid-range jumpers are okay. In fact, if you're really good at mid-range jumpers, you're going to be a really good basketball team. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alabama probably would have beat UCLA if they could make a couple mid-range jumpers. Anyway,
UCLA, that's all they do.
So but they're consistent with it. It's the ones that come early in the shot clock that bother me because most of the time, unless you're shooting a wide ass open mid-range jumper, you're settling because you should be able to get to the hole or you should be able to drive and kick and find someone with a higher percentage shot in terms of what it's worth. Let's get analytical a little bit. Let's have some fun. But mid-range jumpers don't bother me. Mid-range jumpers early in the shot clock are what absolutely drive me insane. It's like throwing a check down route before even seeing if your first option was there.
Yeah, and mid-range jumpers are okay if you have some guys that can rebound. But when you don't have any guys that rebound, you're one and done.
Right.
It was okay for Tennessee to take a contested mid-range jumper at times with Grant and Admiral and Kyle Alexander because you had guys that can get an offensive rebound. Last year you did.
Again, contested mid-range isn't terrible. Early in the shot clock, contested mid-range jumpers, I will burn you at the stake. That's stupid. Quit doing it.
Yeah, I'd rather you just shoot a three.
Especially when you have your guy beat. When you have your guy beat and you pull up to shoot a mid-range jumper, you should be yanked out of the game immediately. A lot of our guys did it. I won't name names, but one guy specifically did it a lot, and it drove me insane. Insane.
Yeah, if you're going to shoot mid-range jumpers, you got to make more than you miss.
Yes. Percentage got to be high. Oh, all right. A little rant there. Sorry. Let's jump over to the good stuff. Fall baseball.
Tomorrow's opening day, baby. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, tomorrow is opening day. You're right. April spring has sprung, if you will.
Yeah, I might go take some grounders,
Oh, yeah?
I don't think I could hit anymore because, I could, soft toss and stuff. But,
let's take some BP. How do we get over to take some BP? How do we get on that?
Oh, we can do it.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Lindsey Nelson.
I mean, anywhere. Yeah, Lindsey Nelson.
I mean, we're not going to mess up their field, so.
That's a good point. Landon. It's a good point.
I might have to check it out. Well,
okay, I don't
Chad
think
Zerker's over baseball operations, so the ball's in your court, Chad.
Ball's in your court, Chad. I could never for multiple reasons. I'll leave those reasons up to your all's imagination. I want to know how many times it would take someone who could hit the ball well, how many times it would take to copy the Drew Gilbert home run that bangs off the pole. You said 1 in a million? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with more than a million. I don't think it could ever be done again.
Dude perfect?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it could ever be done again.
I would like to do the batting kind of stances and their rituals. I feel like I could mimic some of those. Jake Rucker, since I've watched him for 3 years, he always right before he
gets a little
steps in the box. Yeah, gets a little action like that. So yeah, maybe we can take some BP. I'd like to take some grounders.
Okay.
I don't think my hitting would be good, but dude, I can still field with the best of them.
I don't think I'd be good at anything. I know I wouldn't, but I'd look good in pants. I'd look good in baseball pants. I know
there you go. Yeah.
So
roll it up in the middle.
Yeah, that's it. I can look good. And looking good's half the battle. That's the thing.
Are you you like to pull your pants up, or do you like to have them all the way down?
Oh yeah, we're pulling them up. We're rolling. Are you rolling them up, showing the stirrups? Yep.
No, I'm not. I'm not a big no.
You're a Yankees guy, and no.
I'm not a big.
I feel like that's a classic.
I can't pull it off.
I feel like that's a classic Yankees look. Am I wrong?
Jeter didn't do it. Some guys do it. Some guys don't.
Jeter didn't do it. Get out of here.
No, Jeter didn't do it.
Get out of here.
I'm telling
Aaron
you,
Judge does it, doesn't he?
I can still field with the best of them.
Okay. Landon waving his glove over around. Get your victory cap out and let's talk about their win over Western Carolina.
I gotta get that.
Oh my God! Look at him. He's not even prepared.
I brought the.
Are you a
glove,
doubter,
man? I can only get one prop at a time.
You should rally cap it in that case. You should rally cap it.
One prop at a time.
So how many home runs is the team going to end with this year? I mean, I feel like the bats are popping right now. I was like, I didn't know if you're. Oh, there we go.
More.
We're back on. Yeah. Oh, we definitely want more. I'm not settling. I said, how many are we going to end with? Like, I'm looking forward to the end of the season.
Hey, just keep them coming, baby. We'll count them up at the end. We're not going to worry about it right now.
I'm a big running tally guy.
Okay.
We need to get you a whiteboard there to just keep tally. It's going to need to be a big whiteboard. Yeah, your mic cut out on me, I think, unless you're not talking. But yeah, if you can hear me right there behind you on your left shoulder, I'm thinking rally cap. I don't know, Landon. I'm sorry, man. Victory cap. There we go. Nope. I can hear you plugging and unplugging it. Yeah, this is awesome. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. Rally cap gets another. Back? We're back. Perfect. Look at you.
Okay. It was the prop, man. You made me.
I know.
Screwed everything up.
I said the victory cap got another one.
Just bombs away, just tallying it up right here. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's gonna need to be a big board though. I think.
I'll just put it on the wall.
Perfect. Okay. All right. I mean, I'll let Raven take that one up for you. I can't comment.
But yeah, took care of business last night. And we're ranked all the way up to number 6 in a poll.
Yep.
It feels good, man.
It does.
I mean, when's the last time? I guess basketball was ranked number 1. Football was ranked in 2016.
Preseason, yeah. Oh, ranked. Are you talking about ranked or like where? Like
being in the season and ranked.
Oh, okay.
There's just a different feeling about it. It's nice to cheer for a program that's ranked in the top 10. So yeah, business as usual last night. Got the win over Western Carolina. Opened the game up, scored in the first inning. They hit a 2-run bomb, and that dude crushed. I mean, he was like 6'7", batting 400. Legends of Lindsay kept calling him Sasquatch.
I like that.
He was a large individual. He was a terrible catcher, but he got a hold of that one ball.
He played catcher?
Yeah, for like half the game, and then they switched.
Yeah, his knees were probably killing him.
Right. Oh, well, that's why Vitello, they actually moved Max Ferguson up to the front of the lineup because they know if he got on base, he was going to be able to steal because they actually threw him out once, but he had like 5 stolen bases last night. And then Tennessee hit 3 home runs in the game. You mentioned that little bomb tally, put 3 up there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Freshman outfielder Kyle Booker got the start last night, and he smoked one right over the wall in right center. And Russell hit one again, hit his 4th home run in 3 games since Saturday. He's hit 4 home runs since Saturday.
Right.
And then Jake Rucker hit one, I think, in the 8th. It was a 3-run shot. It was a moonshot. Kyle Booker, I mean, it seems like in these midweek games, Tennessee's always getting something out of somebody who doesn't normally start. Trey Lipscomb had a great game against Eastern Kentucky last week. And then Kyle Booker had a great game. Was 2 for 4, had 3 RBIs. I mentioned that solo shot he had in his first at bat, his second at bat. He hits one, smokes one down the first baseline, and it's a 2-run RBI single. Jake Rucker was 1 for 4, 4 RBIs. somebody mentioned, though, Jake Fitzgibbon coming in relief, pitching 3 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs, and 4 strikeouts. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
great outing.
He's kind of struggled in his past couple of outings, but he really found it. I think Vitello mentioned that he was kind of out during the offseason, so good to kind of get him back on track. Hopefully he's a player they can utilize in that bullpen a little bit down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be nice for Tennessee to develop that deeper bullpen, especially as they get into what will this be, the third SEC series?
Yes, third SEC series. We're 5-1 in the SEC right now. Traveling to Tuscaloosa, Alabama is 1-5 in the SEC right now.
But that one win that is over number 1 Arkansas.
That's where you see the record. You're like, oh crap, they're terrible.
Right.
But they've played the number 2 and number 3 teams in the country per D1 baseball so far this season. They got that win 16-1
Arkansas on the first night too. Like they did that on Friday night to open up SEC play. So that's got to be quite the disappointment there for Alabama so far. But yeah, I mean they played Arkansas and Ole Miss, so that's also needs to be mentioned.
Right. Yep. You can't really hang your hat on that record. I think this is a pretty decent team. I think they're when the projections came out about the regionals, Tennessee was, hosting, and I think Alabama was a 3 seed. So, this is probably going to be a regional team. I think they're plenty capable of giving Tennessee some fits. They can score 16 runs against the number 1 team in the country. I don't know where it came from, but it was an outburst that
it happened.
Yeah, apparently it's in the record books. I didn't watch it, so I didn't actually see it, but maybe there's a typo. I don't know.
Fair point.
But yeah, gotta go to Tuscaloosa. That's what sucks. Another weekend. I've been super impressed with Tennessee's pitching, and that's something I thought would probably be a weakness. But man, they strike out a bunch of guys, and they don't walk hardly anybody. They're consistently throwing strikes, giving the defense a chance to get them out, and that's pretty much all you can ask for with the pitching staff.
So Tennessee, let's see, what did we look it up? This will be their first time starting off with 3 SEC series wins since 2006. Is that right? Who looked it up on Sunday?
What is it? 6?
I think it was 2000. Dang it! You asked me now, or you got me questioning now. I'd have to look it up again. Why'd you do that to me, man?
I thought it was 2002.
Was it 2002? That may be right.
Because I thought we were saying it wasn't even the college series. World Series
that may have been right. Yes, that is right. You are right. Okay. Yep.
So it's before 2005.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Chad Brown says Chad Cheese Dallas is a stud. He is a stud.
There's a lot of studs on this team too.
I mean, I mentioned that I think last week. I mean, this team is just taking the form of their head coach, and they're just none of them shy from the moment. They freaking love the spotlight.
It's the attitude, man. That's what I love. The attitude that they carry. It's just so much. It's so much fun. I love to see it.
Absolutely. And then you get guys like Kyle Booker who, really hasn't had an impact. And then, he's your best player in the game. Right. It's just crazy that they have this amount of talent on that roster. And it's been super fun to watch. And hopefully down the stretch, it'll just improve. And we'll keep winning some series. And then, man, if Tennessee can host a regional, that's going to be so awesome.
Yeah, hopefully things are back. I don't know how they get to full capacity, but man, would that be fun for a regional?
We'll just break the rules for that series.
Could they? I mean, could they like? Dude, I feel like it'd be nice. It would be very, very nice to have, because it probably has to do with like the NCAA and SEC, like attendance rules. So I feel like if they were able to like move it to like a venue that wasn't associated with the SEC, like division or a AA baseball park in downtown Knoxville, like wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be sick.
That'd be the perfect. Like I'm in the boat of Tennessee, like, I think some people are tweeting at you. They're like, no, Tennessee doesn't need a facility. That AA is being built for the Smokies. No, Tennessee needs an on-campus facility.
Yeah,
it's the University of Tennessee. They shouldn't be playing their home games at a park that they have to lease out. Like, that should not be how Tennessee has to do it. Tennessee,
right. You're not going to you're not going to change out signs. And
Lindsey Nelson has history at it.
Right.
Yeah. You need to improve it to where the history also matches where Tennessee is at now.
Right. I agree.
And it needs to be improved. And it's that simple. I think it could be a great ballpark if you just modernized it. If you just put some kind of effort into it, it could be a phenomenal ballpark. And the turf, I said it when they got the turf. It sucks because it just doesn't feel like baseball. Like, baseball's played on grass and dirt. But at the same time, it's like, if Tennessee gets more games in, who the hell cares? Like, they wouldn't have played at all this. They probably wouldn't have played last night if they had real grass.
Right.
So
yeah, it would have been a mud hole for sure.
So the turf is what it is. Like, that's, at least it looks good, and they get to play. So that's good. But yeah, you just need to improve the facilities that are there. Because like I said, there's history at Lindsey Nelson. It's not like they don't need to be playing at a sure. I mentioned it with the Vol Classic. Like, it'd be awesome to play the Vol Classic there. That they tried to play at Lindsey Nelson a couple years ago. That ended up getting moved to like, yeah, that would be a great time to do that. Maybe they could have something like the they traveled to the Round Rock Classic in Texas a couple of years ago. Like, sure, that would be if you're able to get enough teams there, you could even play a game at each. That's a fantastic opportunity for the venue, but it shouldn't be your home stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It would be a nice place to do a couple games. But yeah, you don't want to be changing out signs and not really making it your own.
Right.
You want that home field advantage. Is that really going to be your home if you have to change out signs and banners? You can't really paint it anything orange or anything like that. So it just wouldn't have the same feel for me.
No.
And I think Tennessee's atmosphere has been great this season.
Yeah.
I think it's, obviously you want it at full capacity, but I think, the legends of Lindsey Nelson, the deck, the porch, I think Lindsey Nelson's been pretty loud.
Yeah.
I would like to see it, the facilities a little bit better. You look at Florida and Ole Miss and Arkansas, those, they're seating all the way around that stadium.
Right.
And hopefully Tennessee's able to get there one day, because that just, brings a whole different feel to baseball when you have something like that.
Yeah, and I don't even need like seats. I don't need a stadium all the way around. I'm a big berm guy. Can we get a berm in the outfield, or at least a porch? Like, we need something on the right field wall. Something.
Yeah, I think there needs to be something like down the third baseline. I think it needs to be extended all the way down. Like, you should be able to walk all the way around the stadium if you want to. That's what I want.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, but yeah, as far as I don't need seats. I'm a big grass guy. Give us the grass. Give us a cheap. In fact, I've already thrown it out there. I'll reiterate it. There needs to be like I'll walk up every single night. I can pay $5 to get into a game. Because if you want fans there, not in and not out, there needs to be seat options like that. I can pay $5. I can go to the berm, drink cheap beer, and watch Tennessee baseball and get rowdy as I want to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It'd be great. I'd love it. That's what makes minor league baseball so great. Is you have stuff like that. The promotions and things like that make it, so much better than what it probably actually is.
No, for sure. I mean, there's not a lot of there are people who are avid minor league baseball guys who go to those games to watch their favorite players or favorite minor league teams. But the majority of people there are there because they're just like it's a social. Yeah, they're there for the deal, or there because it was cheap, and they like going to live sporting events kind of deal. So, and Chris mentioned it. He said, Landon, one thing about Florida, they're a national baseball power. UT is getting back to that. That's our point about the facilities. Tennessee needs to right now. Their facilities don't say we're serious about baseball. Right. And the fact is Tennessee needs to get serious about it. And I think the fan following has been decent up to this point. and I think it's getting better with Tony Vitello, but no fans want to go necessarily to Lindsey Nelson right now because we talk like the things we talked about. Like, it's not a great facility. There's not a lot of seating options. There's not a lot of, especially this year, which is totally different. But it more has to do with the limited seating, not so much like the actual stadium. But seats are like $99. But there's not like a cheap option night in, night out. Tennessee needs to match that. The University of Tennessee, and whether and I'm a person of like when you look at sports across the board, and we'll actually kind of talk about this NCAA, you earn your keep. So has Tennessee baseball necessarily earned all of that right now? No, but they're going to earn that in the future if you can keep Vitello around, and you're not going to keep Vitello around if you don't make a financial commitment to the facilities and the program right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's gotten a lot better since, I've been going to games. You have the deck that's new this year. That's added a different field. The MVP seating for season ticket holders is, a lot better than what it was a couple years ago. So they're getting there slowly, but like Chris mentioned about Florida, it's hard to go to Florida and recruit somebody and be like, hey, come to Tennessee, and they go to a game here and they see the atmosphere. Yeah, it's cool, blah, blah. But then they go to Florida and it's like a freaking major league stadium. Yeah. It's hard to compete with that. So I think if you want to compete with these programs year in and year out, you're going to have to get some upgrades going. And I think Tennessee could be a powerhouse because, like Tony Vitello mentioned, Knoxville is a sleeping giant for baseball. People love baseball. I mean, they drive, 30 minutes up the road to Kodak and watch the Smokies that they don't really have any ties to. If they, had the promotions, had the seating, had the, that stadium, that like national stadium feel, you would get, because people were tied to Tennessee. People would come here in a heartbeat.
No, for sure. You've already got
you've already feel that stadium.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. When I talk about making the financial commitment kind of ahead, like you have the fan base. Tennessee fans will support anyone in orange. I mean, that's just the way Tennessee is. It's anyone in orange. So you have the fan base, like you mentioned. And then you also have that baseball fan base that are just baseball diehards that'll drop 30 minutes to Kodak that you need to grab. But I mean, yeah, you have to keep Tony Vitello. You have to keep Tony Vitello. And what are you going to do when the good programs, when the national powerhouses come knocking? Because there's only so much money you can pay the guy. Like the other teams can pay him too. So what are you going to do to keep him around? It's going to take more than money in his pocket.
Yeah, you got to be able to compete with them other than salary.
Yeah,
like so it's got to be facilities. You got to keep him competitive in recruiting.
Yeah, more than just facility. It's got to be commitment to the baseball program.
Right. And so if your commitment is like, here's money and we'll stay out of and Danny White's staying out of the way, I don't think they'd have a problem with that.
I agree to an extent, but I think if you're going to look at places where the athletic department is big in baseball, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, in the SEC, Arkansas, I think it's going to take more than just hey, it's your program, you got it. I think it's going to take Danny White going out and fundraising specifically for that baseball facility.
Oh, I agree. He's got to make a commitment to the baseball program, but I don't think he needs to do like a huge try to sell this program because I think the program will sell itself. You just got to, upgrade the facilities, and I think it's there because you're already competing with them on the field. Tickets are selling out within minutes,
right?
Because people want to see this team play. Right now it's more difficult because you have that limited capacity.
Right, supply demand's working in Danny White's favor right now.
But imagine how much money you could make if you did have seating all around the stadium.
Right.
If you're at full capacity and you're selling out tickets, imagine how many tickets that you could have sold if you just had that extra seating.
Yeah. And I mean, no, with UT, football facilities absolutely take precedence. But I mean, like how much, like, let's be honest. And I think this, goes into how much, guys like Jay Billis, bitch and moan about facilities. How much better can UT's facilities, football facilities, honestly get? Like, at what point are we going to be like logical human beings and be like, okay, let's address some other needs. Tennessee's basketball facilities. Like, how much better can those facilities actually get? Like, at what point are you going to try and I mean, I don't even think Tennessee's baseball facilities are like, it's not like they're playing out in the dirt. They're not abysmal. But when you compare it to Neyland, when you compare it to Thompson Bowling Arena, I mean, hell, when you compare it to Regal Soccer Stadium, it's not there. And I mean, I don't know a whole lot about, I'll be honest, I don't know about a whole lot about the softball facility, but I know it looks really good, and they play a lot of regionals there, and people love traveling to Knoxville to watch softball.
Yep. You know, I think it has been difficult for coaches. Luckily, you get a home run hire in Tony Vitello, where he's able to grow this program up to this point without having those huge facilities, because most coaches couldn't do it.
Right. Make the commitment to him. That's our point. Make the commitment to Tony Vitello. Upgrade the facilities and do it after Tennessee sweeps Alabama. Tell Alabama this week that we're not going to just beat you on the field. We're also going to beat you in the arms race of facilities.
Suck it.
Suck it. I don't care how many Mercedes-Benz dealerships Nick Saban has. Remind me to say the name Nick Saban after the broadcast, because I got to mention something to you. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
You're gonna laugh. I can't wait to hear you do that laugh. It's gonna be fun. All right, upgrade them. March Madness. Let's get into some NCAA basketball. Landon's not happy with Michigan.
God, they suck. Screw Michigan. I hate them. I hate them so much.
But aren't you also like isn't it at least this has been a very, very fun March Madness, and I think I mentioned this to you maybe Sunday or last Wednesday. Is it because I just haven't, I didn't get it last year? Is it because why do I feel that way? This is actually, after UCLA's win over Michigan, this has had the most upsets of all time. This March Madness.
And it's crazy. Like the brackets were busted pretty much day one, but you were like, what, one? You made 2 free throws that they missed at the end of the first half. If he makes 2 of those, you could have 3 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I would have had the entire. No, that's not true. I had Alabama going in, so never mind. Yeah. But, yeah, no, that would have been nuts. That's a good point. So it would have had still some of the most upsets of all time mixed with 3 number 1 seeds. So that would have been even crazier.
Yeah.
I feel like. That is wild to me that you have 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and an 11 seed in the Final Four.
Well, and I listen all day that, who's the biggest threat to Gonzaga? And everybody was saying Michigan. Good Lord. That was terrible.
Gonzaga
50% from the free throw line?
I'm not sure.
Gonzaga's good, and I don't think anybody's going to beat them.
Gonzaga's very good. Hey, is UCLA the team of destiny? I don't know. Do we believe in destiny?
Isn't that the craziest thing that Rick Barnes would have been there?
Nuts. I mean,
because they play the same. It's gritty, it's defense and contested mid-range jumpers, but they just have guys that can knock them down.
Don't you kind of feel bad for Rick Barnes that he is catching not only flack for Tennessee underperforming, but he's also catching flack for UCLA overperforming?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they would every time I've seen it be mentioned an SEC country, they're always like, UCLA, great run. Wouldn't have happened if Rick Barnes is there. I'm like, dang. Just no reason.
It's hard to argue. What do you have to argue about?
No, but it's also there's no point to it.
Right. You'll never know. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you get the best of both worlds with Rick Barnes there. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Josh Hickman mentioned Baylor just knows how to close games. I've been saying that all year, so 100% agree. Gonzaga hasn't had to play many close games. They have not had to play many close games, but I think there's also something to say about that winner's mentality that is tough to replicate. They know how to win
and win big,
and they also know how to win big. Yeah. So I think Baylor has the ability to just crush teams in the final couple minutes. But yeah, Gonzaga knows how to win. And they both have to win on Saturday to even have this discussion. And hey, I will say it, known Houston hater, I'll eat my words. I thought Houston was a fraud. They are not frauds. They also had a pretty easy road to the Final Four. I will acknowledge that, but you still had to win the games.
I picked them to lose in the second round to Rutgers, I think.
I did too.
And then I had Michigan State beating UCLA in the first game. It shows you how much I know about.
But the good news is I had Michigan State going to the round of 32, and since I filled out the bracket on ESPN before the play-in game, it had it as UCLA. So I technically got that right if you want to be, super technical about it.
But you're banking on Michigan State.
100%. 100%. I won't lie here. I'm not here to fret. I will let you all know that I won $100 on a teaser last night, so suck it.
Did you put 30 on it?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Dang, I wish I would.
Dude, that seemed like the best. I'm so glad Dylan sent it because I wouldn't have put it together on my own. But looking at it, I was like, that should be DraftKings no-brainer.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a no-brainer to me. I don't know.
It was good. Yeah, I wish I would have put more money on it. I would have actually won quite a bit of money last night. But Michigan, screw you, man. Oh, my God.
All right, so who's playing? I had in my bracket, I have Gonzaga and Baylor playing in the championship. Is that who you're going with? You're still riding with it? Or do you think Houston somehow figures it out? When I say figures it out to beat Baylor. No, not a chance.
I mean, I'll probably be wrong because I'll probably bet on it, but I don't see either one. I don't see Baylor beating Gonzaga right now. I picked Baylor to win just because Gonzaga is a favorite. I just didn't think they would just run through the NCAA tournament without slipping up one game. But the fact that they don't really have an inside presence and they dominated USC the way that they did, it's just I don't see anybody beating them.
That's fair. So I want to know, maybe fun fact, and it's probably happened a lot more than I'm letting on. So Waco, I just looked it up. Waco and Houston are only they're 3 hours away. What's the closest distance two schools have been in the Final Four? I wonder. I feel like 3 hours has got to be close to the record, right?
Duke and North Carolina have.
Yeah, but have they met in the Final Four? And if they have, how often? Because I feel like typically they would get put on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, they would obviously be the closest. I mean, they're a mile away.
Right. Tobacco Road. Yeah, I guess that would be Tennessee and Vanderbilt. I ain't ever meet in the Final Four. Man.
Louisville and Kentucky. How close are they? They've got to be closer than 3 hours.
How far is Michigan and Michigan State?
I think East Lansing is pretty far from.
Pretty far. Okay.
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, 3 hours though. I mean, it's got to be close.
All right.
Let's see. So apparently, in the 83-year history of the Final Four, only 7 times has two teams from the same state made the field. Made the field though. I'm asking if they played each other. Yeah, that's I feel like the difference there. Because like you mentioned, I mean, Duke and North Carolina probably have before. Trying to figure it out for you guys real quick because I think that's an interesting question. I mean, I think it's interesting that for two teams to make the Final Four regardless from the same state. So that would be pretty crazy if they played in the championship. Obviously, they can't. They're on the same side of the bracket, playing each other already. But all right. Well, I'm gonna look that up after. I don't have enough time.
How far is UCLA and USC from each other?
That one was mentioned. They're not far from each other.
Okay.
I mean, they're both LA. But so now driving distance, that's got to be what, like 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, through traffic.
Yeah, like that's a long trip. So yeah, that's all right. Sorry, NCAA tournament. Anything else you want to mention before we move on?
That's all I got. I think Baylor and Gonzaga, and then I'd probably have Gonzaga, even though I picked Baylor.
Okay, fair. I'm gonna go Gonzaga. I picked Gonzaga to win it all. Undefeated, best season do it, write it.
Mm.
It just makes sense.
It's hard to argue.
I also just put up Stupidity is an Epidemic as I was saying that, so you guys can clip that, me saying that with Stupidity is an Epidemic on the screen and use it. Free use. I encourage it, in fact. I am going to skip because, guys, we've kept you here for a while. We'll talk about NCAA compensation. Hopefully we know more by the time we get to it. We talked about it a lot on the show, too, so it's not like people don't know our opinions on the issue. Okay, Stupidity is an Epidemic. What you got for me? I hope your mic didn't just go out again. Yeah, your mic went out on me, man. I'm so sorry. There you go. Maybe. Nope. I've heard you for a second there. Yep, there you go. My first one is it's the refs, man. The NCAA refs. I just do not understand how you don't miss the foul to end the Baylor-UConn women's game. I'll never understand it.
Gino.
I just and it's not even like a play where I've seen the ones where I'm like, hey, just let them play. Like that's because I hate the fouls that you get throughout the game, but you obviously understand that they could be called and then they're only called in the final seconds. I hate those. But the girl got absolutely abused by two people. You could have picked somebody. You could have called it on half the freaking UConn team.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I just don't understand how you miss that. I'm sure the NCAA said it was the right call too. They never. Good God.
My next one is Maria Taylor. And I think a lot of people did this, but she's the one I saw, so she gets called out for it. So SportsCenter tweeted the graphic for the first time since 1950. Baylor is headed to the Final Four. And she said Baylor men's because the women won the title in 2019. The graphic specifically says 2020 men's NCAA tournament.
Wait, will you read that for me again?
So SportsCenter tweeted for the first time since 1950, Baylor is headed to the Final Four. She said Baylor men's.
Yeah.
Because the women won the title in 2019, but the graphic specifically says men's NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Got to read the fine print.
Got to read it. Got to read it. I saw someone tweet the wrong graphic out today from a sports account, so got to read it. Got to double check those graphics.
Yeah.
What am I pulling up here? Hold on one second. What is this? Oh, yeah, let's not watch that. Let's see. Do I have any more?
That's all I got.
What in the world? Did you read that Alabama reply to Vol Baseball's tweet?
What'd they say?
Okay, I'm going to read this word for word. And you break it down.
Okay.
This is from Horace. Ain't no real sport and can't be football. Ferret mans like they held. Hop around about tapes if they wanted, but the spot was feet. # Roll Tide. That was read in the correct order. I don't know, man.
Did Farmer Fran say that?
I think Farmer Fran could articulate a better sentence than that.
Hang on, Roll Tide. I mean, that's basically what it was. My Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm mind blown. You got me.
Roll Tide. I mean, what else do you say?
Hey guys, don't implicate yourself for illegal things on Twitter. By the way, just want to throw that out there. I just saw a screenshot. Wanted to don't do it.
I'm telling yourself.
Don't ever tell on yourself.
Deny.
Yes, exactly.
No, that's all I got. I'm done.
That's all I got too. Guys, we always appreciate you all listening. It's been a fun one. I feel like I went on a lot of rants tonight, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna need to drink more water. My head's kind of light. I'm lightheaded.
Okay.
So my head's not light. My head's actually pretty big and heavy, but I'm lightheaded.
It's that high altitude in Johnson City.
Yeah, you move a little bit farther north, and it goes there. But it's always fun. We will be back with you. We'll actually be back Monday night, time TBA. We'll let you all know, but it is Easter this weekend, so happy Easter. Enjoy it. Get to spend time with friends and family. safely in whatever way that means for you.
Safely, yes. Just be safe. Be safe. Don't tell on yourself. Don't do that.
Don't do.
Also, be on the lookout for the baseball shirts. We will have another order ready to go here soon. I was going to do that tonight, but I probably won't do it tonight. So, yeah, look at it. Look out for it tomorrow. That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.